peeling paint, silent rooms, and echoes of a voice that once ruled reggae. This was the former home of Dennis Brown, the man crowned the Prince of Reggae, whose music filled arenas while his life quietly slipped away. Today, we're stepping inside the house he left behind, uncovering his assets, his lifestyle, and the legacy that survived a tragic ending. But before we walk through what remains, we need to rewind to how a boy from Kingston rose to become one of the greatest voices reggae has ever known. Dennis Brown was born on February 1st, 1957, at Victoria Jubilee Hospital in Kingston, Jamaica. He entered the world with music already close by. His father, Arthur Brown, was a screenwriter, actor, and journalist, a man surrounded by words, stories, and performance. Dennis grew up in a crowded tenement between North Street and King Street, sharing a small space with his parents, 3 brothers, and a sister. Life was noisy, busy, and creative. Then, in the 1960s, his mother died. Childhood ended early. Music became his refuge. From a young age, Dennis listened carefully. American singers filled his imagination. Brooke Benton, Sam Cooke, Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin. But one voice stood above the rest: Nat King Cole. Cole's smooth phrasing and emotional control shaped how Dennis approached singing. He learned that power did not require volume. Around Orange Street at J.J.'s record shop, he soaked in Jamaica's rock-steady sound, quietly blending American soul with local rhythm. He was studying without knowing it. His talent surfaced early. At 9 years old, Dennis performed at a school concert and immediately stood out. By 11, he was already working professionally. At the Tit for Tat nightclub in West Kingston, where his brother Basil performed comedy, Dennis was invited on stage to sing with the house band. The room went silent. Then it erupted. That night earned him a permanent role as the group's lead singer. Soon after, he performed at a Jamaica Labor Party convention at the National Arena, singing Desmond Decker's Unity and Johnny Taylor's Ain't That Loving You. The audience threw money onto the stage. Dennis used it to buy his first suit. For a boy barely in his teens, it felt like proof. The 1970s turned talent into fame. Working with producers such as Coxsone Dodd, Derek Harriott, and Joe Gibbs, Dennis refined a sound that balanced sweetness and authority. In 1972, Money in My Pocket became a breakthrough hit, especially in the UK. The following year, he teamed with Winston "Niney" Holness to release Westbound Train, the biggest Jamaican hit of the summer. Still a teenager, Dennis was voted Jamaica's top male singer by Swing magazine. The industry crowned him early. Success, however, came at a cost. In 1973, exhaustion sent Dennis to the hospital. Rumors spread that he was seriously ill. Doctors ordered rest and warned him to slow down. It was a rare pause in a career already moving too fast. He returned stronger in 1974, touring the UK as part of the Jamaica Act, alongside the Maytals and other rising stars. That tour led to a deal with Trojan Records and the release of his debut album, Just Dennis. By the early 1980s, Dennis Brown had become one of reggae's most reliable voices. He signed with A&M Records, released albums like Foul Play and Love Has Found Its Way, and crossed into R&B charts in both the United States and the United Kingdom. As dancehall took over the genre, Dennis adapted without losing his identity, working alongside peers like Gregory Isaacs. His voice matured, but it never hardened. By the 1990s, the title followed him everywhere. The Crown Prince of Reggae. It was earned, not claimed. Yet behind the success, the pace never truly slowed. Fame arrived early. Responsibility came late. And while the music traveled the world, the physical signs of that success were far more fragile. Starting with the home he once owned, now standing silent. Former home in Jamaica. From dream to abandonment. This was once the home of Dennis Brown, not a mansion built to impress, but a modest, lived-in space meant to anchor a fast-moving life. The property spans roughly 2,117 square feet, sitting on a 9,375 square foot plot. It offered room to breathe, room to rest. Little is publicly known about how long Brown owned the house, and that uncertainty now feels symbolic. Since his death in 1999, the home has been left behind, slowly surrendering to time. From the street, the signs are immediate. Vegetation has grown wild around the structure. Paint peels from the exterior walls. Windows sit dark and still. There is no sense of activity, only the quiet weight of absence. Step inside, and the contrast becomes sharper. Dust coats what remains of the furnishings, settling thick on floors, chairs, and forgotten corners. The ceilings show wear. The walls carry stains of moisture and neglect. It's not vandalized, it's simply been untouched, as if the house paused the moment its owner never returned. The rooms feel smaller now, not because of their dimensions, but because of what's missing: movement, music, life. And yet beneath the decay, the structure still holds promise. The layout is practical. The outdoor space is generous. The neighborhood remains calm and residential. For someone with vision, this house could be restored, reimagined, and brought back to purpose. It could become a family home again, or a tribute, or something entirely new. Real estate listings might describe it as an opportunity for renovation. Culturally, it feels like something more complicated than that. The abandoned home stands as a quiet counterpoint to Dennis Brown's global success. His voice traveled the world, his records sold, his name endured. But the physical rewards of that success proved fragile. And that raises the next question, one that matters just as much as the music itself. If Dennis Brown was one of reggae's greatest voices, what did that success actually earn him in the end? Income and net worth. Measuring the wealth of Dennis Brown is difficult, and the uncertainty itself tells part of the story. Public estimates vary, but figures commonly cited place his net worth at just over $1 million, an unofficial number that likely reflects his peak earning years or the value of his estate around the time of his death in 1999. Dennis Brown released dozens of albums across major reggae labels, including Studio One, Joe Gibbs, and later his own imprint, DEB Music, which he launched in the late 1970s in an effort to gain control over his royalties. Songs like Money in My Pocket became international hits, while albums such as Visions of Dennis Brown helped cement his reputation as reggae's most dependable voice. Record sales, radio play, and overseas distribution, especially in the UK, formed a steady stream of income during his most active years. Chart success followed him throughout the 1970s and 1980s. Dennis Brown scored numerous #1 singles in Jamaica and enjoyed repeated chart appearances in Britain, where reggae audiences embraced his romantic, soulful style. He was not a one-hit artist, he was a constant presence. Touring added another layer. From reggae sunsplash to packed venues across the UK and Europe, Dennis was a proven draw. Even in the late 1990s, he was still traveling internationally, including a tour in Brazil shortly before his death. Beyond performing, Dennis earned income as a songwriter and producer. Through DEB Music, he produced records for other artists, including Junior Delgado, expanding his role from singer to mentor. Still, ownership came late, and protection came slowly. Much of his career unfolded in an era when reggae artists rarely benefited from long-term financial planning or airtight contracts. Dennis Brown earned respect, admiration, and global recognition. What he didn't always have was a safety net. And that imbalance between fame and stability followed him beyond the stage, shaping the personal life he lived away from the spotlight. Personal life and death. He married Yvonne Brown, and together they built a large family. Dennis was the father of 10 children, a responsibility that grew alongside his fame. While much of his private life stayed out of the headlines, those closest to him knew he carried deep pride in his role as a father, even as the pressures of touring and recording pulled him constantly away from home. Among his children, his youngest daughter, Marla Brown, would later step into the spotlight. Rather than simply carrying her father's name, she carried his musical discipline. Marla earned international recognition in reggae, proving that Dennis Brown's influence did not end with his own recordings. His voice lived on, not just in archives, but in the next generation. For Dennis, that continuation mattered. It meant the music had roots. Still, personal struggles followed him for years. By the late 1990s, his health began to decline visibly. Dennis suffered from recurring respiratory problems, widely believed to have been worsened by long-term drug use, particularly cocaine. The lifestyle that once fueled creativity now demanded a price. In May 1999, after touring Brazil with fellow reggae artists, he fell seriously ill and was diagnosed with pneumonia. Friends noticed the fatigue. The warning signs were there. On the evening of June 30th, 1999, Dennis returned to Kingston. Not long after landing, he was rushed to Kingston University Hospital in cardiac arrest. He died the following day, on July 1st, 1999. The official cause of death was a collapsed lung. He was only 42 years old. The news stunned Jamaica and the global reggae community. A voice that had soundtracked love, struggle, and resilience was suddenly gone. His funeral, held on July 17, 1999, became a national moment. Jamaica's Prime Minister at the time, P.J. Patterson, and opposition leader Edward Seaga both delivered speeches. The ceremony lasted 3 hours and included live performances by Maxi Priest, Shaggy, and 3 of Dennis Brown's sons. He was laid to rest at National Heroes Park, a resting place reserved for figures who shaped the nation's identity. Prime Minister Patterson summed it up simply. Dennis Brown had left behind a vast treasure trove of songs that would endure for generations, and endure they did. Dennis Brown became a blueprint for countless artists who followed. Singers such as Barrington Levy, Junior Reid, Frankie Paul, Luciano, Bushman, and Richie Stephens all cited him as a major influence. He showed that reggae could be tender without losing strength. Tributes continued long after his passing. A memorial concert in Brooklyn marked the first anniversary of his death. In 2001, the Dennis Emanuel Brown Foundation was established to educate young people, preserve his legacy, and provide musical instruments to youth. Annual scholarships followed. In 2005, Gregory Isaacs honored him with an entire tribute album. Recognition crossed borders. In 2010, NPR named Dennis Brown one of its 50 great voices of all time, placing him alongside Nat King Cole and Ella Fitzgerald. Jamaica posthumously awarded him the Order of Honor in 2011. A blue plaque appeared on his former London home in Harlesden in 2012. And in 2023, Rolling Stone ranked him among the 200 greatest singers in history. As we close this story, one truth remains clear. Dennis Brown was more than a voice. He was a feeling that never faded. His life carried brilliance, struggle, love, and loss. But his music continues to speak long after the silence. If you found meaning in this journey, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share this story with others who value real musical legacy. Thank you for watching, and thank you for continuing this journey with us.